Okay, good evening guys. We're crossing live from the Gold Coast on Let's Talk About Ice, live on the couch from the head office quarters. And guys, we have a bit of a different show for you today. We're going to partition today's show into two. There's a couple of things that we want to bring to your attention, and I believe that it's really helpful for the community. Both topics today, we're going to talk about meth in houses and the effects of that on people and our community. We're also going to be talking about suicide prevention because a lot of people on ice, meth, do get suicidal, okay, because of the psychosis. So we're going to be talking about that today, and we're going to be talking about our care team and the way that we approach the calls and how we can help you. So before I go on with our first guest, I just need to remind you of a couple of events happening over the next week or two. So the first event is we have 2 places left on a boat cruise on Sunday at 5 p.m. So if you are on the Gold Coast and you want to come out with the ARC team, and there's 2 places left, mind you, on the water for a sunset cruise for only $30 or any donation of your choice. All proceeds raised go towards AARC. But it's a day of relaxing and sitting down and chatting and being able to share some stories together, and hopefully some really good stories and some sad stories I know that are going to come up. But we're just going to be having a day in the sun on this Sunday. That's at 5 p.m. From the Marina Mirage. So if you want to go, please contact us ASAP. There's only 2 places left, so private message us on Facebook, and we'll let you know the details and how you can get there.
Haven't got much time.
I know.
Okay.
Thanks. Right. Also, the art exhibition, not competition. The art exhibition that we'll be attending, because we are putting together an art program for people in early recovery. Okay, both art and music and dance. So they're 2 things that are close to our heart, close to my heart, because that's what helped me recover. So there is a art exhibition, and we have the details on our page. I don't have it in front of me. It's at Australia Fair, Thursday the 10th. Forgot the time, but 6 p.m. It's not on my run sheet, sorry. But I'd love to see you there. Australia Fair, Gold Coast, Thursday the 10th at 6 p.m. Dawn Critchlow will be launching that. The Chariots will be there, and we'll be there. I might even sing a song or 2. So if you are around at Australia Fair, come down, say hi, come and have a look at the artwork, and come and join us there. So, and also the Sydney Comedy for a Cause. So if anybody in Sydney would like to join us, I will be down there. I'll be doing some training. New presenters up in Sydney that week. Love to catch up with you all. So come down and visit us. If you're in Sydney, click on our events page and you'll be able to see Comedy for a Cause and book in and come and have a great night out with us and laugh a little bit, because laughter's good for the soul. Guys, before I go on any further, I want to introduce you to somebody really special on the couch today who's working on an amazing product that I think is really going to help so many people Australia-wide. And if you have a property, you want to listen to this. So guys, please share this post on your Facebook, because you don't know who needs to hear this. Okay, if you're renting a property, or if you own a property, real estate, you want to know about this product. Okay, so I'd like to introduce you to David Pye.
Hi Andrea.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to be on the show, David. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate being here.
So I want to talk a little bit about the Meth Breaker. Firstly, how did this come about and why, David? So let's talk about what it is first.
What it is, it's a methamphetamine detection alarm. It's the only one in the world. It's a world patented product. What it does is it detects the precursors associated with the manufacture or use of ice.
Right. So you're telling me that will detect ice being made in a
Yep. As soon as it's installed in a property a motel room, Airbnb, all that style of thing. As soon as it's installed, it starts testing the air every 30 minutes. And it has the ability to identify the previous use or manufacture. If it doesn't attain the levels of 0.5, which is the Australian standards, it will continue reporting on a weekly basis, and it allows the landlord or the property manager or the hotel manager to identify if there's any spikes in usage, which allows them to react before the property's damaged and that sort of thing.
Okay, so tell me something, is this product hardwired in?
No, it's not. As soon as it's attached to the wall, in a strategic place, probably in the main living area, the precursors are disturbed as soon as air comes into the property. It gets placed on a wall. It's got 2 tamper-proof alarms in it. They can't cover it. They can't take it off the wall. As soon as they attempt to do that, it reports immediately to the nominated mobile phone. And that's when they take the action of probably ringing the police.
So tell me something, is it battery operated?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so what stops me, like if I was in a house, and you know, you probably know this, but you know, as a nice user, most people wouldn't really, they just want to rip that off the wall.
As soon as they rip it off the wall, it sends a real-time alert to the nominated mobile phone. So they're only going to rip it off the wall if they're affected by ice or they want to use ice. And they want to get that out of the property because whilst that's in the property, they know they're going to get caught.
Right. How accurate is it, David? Have you done some testing on that? Tell us, you know, how accurate is it, and what's the distance that it measures? Like, if you have a 6-bedroom house, is it going to reach the whole house?
Probably not a 6-bedroom house, but your standard rental property and that sort of thing, hotel rooms. As soon as it's got a coverage of 120 square metres. So that allows it to have coverage everywhere, but what it does is even the rooms with all their doors shut regularly, if that's where they're using or whatever, they have got to open those doors. And that's when the precursors get disturbed and they're just floating around and the sensor attracts them and eventually it'll give a reading allowing people to identify that there is usage happening.
Okay, great. So have you got them installed in places already?
Yes. We've created the gentleman that owns Harcourts worldwide has endorsed the product. And there's other real estate agents and that sort of people. We're in discussions with motels and that sort of thing, in particular strip motels on the Gold Coast, for example, where people come and go and they come for a weekend and extend the stay and then all of a sudden they leave in the middle of the night and that sort of thing, which obviously isn't healthy for the people coming in next.
That's right, absolutely. What happens if you know, somebody's using or cooking in a room? You know, why would somebody want that, like, after they're gone?
Once it starts reporting, it can give a level, and that's when you can draw a line in the sand. So then it's up to property owners, landlords, all that sort of thing, that they then, moving forward, they can identify on a weekly basis when the spikes happen. So that it identifies who's been smoking or manufacturing. Where that hasn't been able to be done previously.
No, it hasn't. So I want to go on to, like, if people don't have that, the danger that they have here is that the contamination is in the room and is on the walls.
Correct.
And how dangerous is that, David?
Well, it can be on the walls, it can be on rugs, it can be in the air conditioning vents, it can be attracted to doonas, and especially with young kids crawling around or whatever.
That's right.
That's when all the issues with youngsters happen. But it doesn't just leave it at that. It's also adults, you know, getting into beds at night with doonas and that sort of thing. Is that the precursors are sitting there. They're just waiting for the breeze to come so they can get up and about. And that once that all happens, that's when the sensor starts detecting.
Because really, that in the air, and in the walls and on the clothing and doodles and stuff is really it can affect people coming into the room.
Absolutely.
Coming into the hotel room or the rental property.
Cleaners, property managers,
Yep.
the whole box and dice. People are walking in and out all day.
Yeah. Well, we get calls regularly, people telling us and reporting to us that, they've found that they were sick for a long time and that there was meth in their walls, they had it tested and, they rented a new property, they got sick. Actually, I got a call this week from somebody in Melbourne. So it happens all the time, and you know what? I really believe, we should be doing something, because if we're not doing something to protect, the property, the rental property, or to be, okay, I'm walking into a new rental property and that's got a meth breaker in it, great, I know that I'm safe, and as a property owner or manager, I have owned properties before, and I have had, actually, it wasn't meth, but it was, there was marijuana growing in the house, and they just gutted it. They just, had holes on the ceilings and hydroponics and stuff. But there was no way, as a landlord, that I could have known, because I was still paying their rent, and they had a whole, fabrication going there, But with that, you would get an alarm.
And you can identify people are using in the property.
Yeah.
Because one of the very important things is why this device was developed is because of the cowboy industry of swab testing. Swab testing now is just, there's people out there giving inflated readings so they can get the job of doing the next test. Then they go to the cleaning process, and there's people out there that have got their finger in every step of the way. With this, the landlord or the property manager has got no concerns, because it's reporting 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. So they know that their property's being protected. As soon as it reaches 0.5, the Australian standards, we let them know.
Wow. Okay.
But leading up to that, they can identify. Some landlords that we've spoken to have said, look, if it gets to 0.3, I want to know about it, because I want to do something about it. And especially if there's spikes, so they can identify use. Landlords have said to us, one chance, keep happens again, a victim.
Yeah, absolutely. My first concern, and we are supporting you and the product, but my first concern when you first came to see me was, okay, I put this in the property, and then that beeps and, lets my husband, which I don't have, but if I had a husband, know, he'd want to go down there and confront somebody on ice, which can be very, very dangerous. How do we go about combating that? Because that can be a really dangerous situation.
There's a reporting protocol that's been developed in conjunction with the police, which allows a safe way of reporting the product.
Great.
At the end of the day, it's not a matter of jumping in the car and flying down there and knocking on the door and saying, hey, listen, you're smoking ice. The reality is that there's contact numbers, you ring them and make them aware of the fact that this is registered, that you're using ice. You know that we've spoken about this when you signed the rental agreement. If it happens again, you'll be evicted.
So how does it work if somebody's interested in putting something like that, the icebreaker, in their home? What's the process, David? Tell me. Simply,
if people are interested in the product, it's just a matter of going to our website, globalmethsolutions.com.au, or your website.
AustralianAntiIceCampaign.org.au. We'll have it in our shop shortly. I don't know if it's up there yet, but it will be within the next week.
And then we've created a relationship with these guys which enables us to help support them in a common cause. At the end of the day, yes, we're a business, but we're also passionate about the fact that we're helping reduce and fix a part of our society that is just getting out of control.
Absolutely is, yeah. So people can just go onto your website. Do they send an email to you, or they can just?
Yeah, it's just a matter of navigating the website.
Yeah.
There's a category that says shop,
yep.
and you can just go to that and order one in.
Awesome. So does somebody have to come and install that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So somebody from your company will come out and
yep.
put it in. So would you need one for, say, a 3-bedroom home, or two?
No, you'd only need one.
You only need one. Okay.
Yep.
So that gives us a bit of an idea. And what does something like that cost? Can somebody rent? Do they rent them? Do they buy them?
They buy them.
Yep.
The cost at the moment is $635 plus GST, which fails into insignificance when you take in consideration the cost of swab testing,
yeah.
which
and
in
cleaning.
recent, and the cleaning, in particular the cleaning.
Yeah.
But right now the cost of swab testing has gone from as high as $500 and $600 down to $200 because the industry's been exposed.
Yeah, yeah.
And this will take over.
Yeah.
Is that there's no need for swab testing as soon as this is installed, because it'll tell you when you need to do a lab analysis
yep.
test
yep.
to find out what the level is.
So is that a one-off fee that they pay for that? Or?
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yep.
And then they've got to change the batteries and stuff.
Batteries every 12 months,
yep.
which is
okay.
Anyone can do it. A property manager, it's just 4 screws. You lift the lid off,
yep.
take 3 batteries out, and put three batteries back in.
Awesome. So it's a bit like the smoke detector.
Very.
But this is meth detector.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
That's fantastic. So is there anything else that people at home need to know about this product, and why? I guess why you guys decided to get involved in that. I know your heart about
yep.
helping the community, and you saw, there are people out there, I guess, riding on and trying to make money out of this problem, both in rehab and and swabs, but not all rehabs are bad and not all swabbings are bad. But there are people getting on that bandwagon and trying to make money from it instead of really trying to help the industry or what's going on in the community. So I heard your heart about, yes, it's a product, yes, it's a business, but our heart is about stopping this problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's a one-off thing. Is that once you put it into a property,
yeah,
it'll continue to do its job,
yeah,
until it reaches 0.5.
That's awesome.
So a landlord can
rest,
just forever until it gets to 0.5, which is the time then that they can react and do something about it. Well, they've got to react and do something about it. But right now, people they're getting swab testers in based on suspicion.
Yes, that's right.
We think
yes.
that there's been some activity here. This is definitive.
Yeah. Okay.
It tells you on a weekly basis, yes, there's been use.
Yep.
No, there hasn't.
Yep.
We all hope it's no, there hasn't
that's
been.
Right.
But no one knows.
Yeah.
You and I have had this discussion that this drug doesn't discriminate.
No.
And it's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
And we're helping by developing this product
Yep.
that is going to be something that people in 10 years' time
Yep.
will look back on
Yep.
and go, gee, I'm glad I put one of them in my property.
Well, I've got Christina says, have been in a motel room. I can't read this.
Oh. Do you want me to?
10
Within 10 minutes.
Within 10 minutes had heart palpitations and felt extremely stressed. The fire detector was shoved full of toilet paper and kitchen ceiling was yellow. I felt physically sick and had to get out of the room. So that's the kind of reports that we do have. But somebody that's come into a hotel room and that impact, and I don't know, but I would be much more rested if I know I was coming in and I could see, okay, this room will be safe,
Yeah.
so
And look,
it's
that unfortunately, that's not isolated.
Yeah.
But I'd love Christine to send a message to to our website.
Yeah.
And I'd love to speak to her about that because that's what we've got to fix up.
That's right, exactly.
You know, and this is where those hotel operators have got to be proactive.
Yeah.
And put these in.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, they may, but probably not. They don't know what's going on in the hotel rooms because of privacy and all that sort of thing. And, you know, this poor woman, if, you know, all of a sudden she gets sick pretty quickly, it probably tends to suggest that the contamination level is through the roof.
Well, I know up in North Queensland, a man that bought a caravan to fix up, to do it up, and he let his daughter play in there, and she started to get sick, and then she started to bleed internally, and they took her to the doctors. They thought she had cancer, all this stuff. It ended up she had meth in her system, and it was from the walls of the caravan, you see, and she was very, very sick, and he said, you know, property owners have a responsibility to really do something and make sure that the property's safe. But that was a caravan. Who would have thought?
Well, these motorhomes that people rent.
Yeah.
You know, we've had contact from those people that, you know, people jump off a plane and they say, I want one of these for 3 months. Yeah. What goes on in the bloody thing?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, that's the scary part is that we haven't got eyes inside the motorhome, but we certainly have got a sensor that can determine what sort of activity's going on. And the fact that the patent revolved with this is simply about ice.
Yeah, that's incredible. How does that happen? How does it just detect ice?
It's just the expertise of the sensor, and that's where the basis of the patent lies. That's why we've got a worldwide patent on it, is because the sensor only picks up the precursors associated with the manufacture or smoking of methamphetamine.
That's incredible. Yeah. So if somebody's smoking pot or you know, cigarettes or whatever, it won't do anything. No. That's incredible. That's amazing.
Because most people the issue is with methamphetamines. That's when they really, really get aggressive.
That's right.
And you know, it doesn't discriminate.
No, and the long-term damage is methamphetamine. It's a global problem. And you know, David, people may not know this at home, you may not know this, but Australia is the highest ice users, so methamphetamine users in the world per capita.
Exactly.
Like, it's just, you know, that's incredible to believe, right? But we do have a global methamphetamine problem. Call it ice, shabu, tick, pee, whatever you want to call it, it's still the same chemical, it's still the same effect on human beings, and you know, that's fantastic that we can just detect that, and you can feel safe in your home, knowing that, you know, even when you have teenagers or even adults. I mean, I was 40 years old, you know, somebody gave me a pipe, you know, you don't know, we have all walks of life getting addicted to this horrible, evil drug, but at least this will deter first use, and we can do something about it.
Absolutely.
So
and look, at the end of the day, every single property manager should be encouraging their landlords to put it in, and every landlord should be saying, I want one of them in there, because eventually, at some stage maybe in the future, it's going to protect them from spending $30 or $40 or $50,000 on fixing their property up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, David.
No, thank you, Andrea.
If there's a number that people can call, we have a 1-800 number.
Yep. 1-800-111-467. Yep.
Awesome. And that's the number to call if you're interested in the Meth Breaker, it's called. Guys, it will be on our shop really, really soon, hopefully early next week. And you can just click on there and order it, or you can go on to your website, which is
globalmethsolutions.com.au.
Awesome. And you can they can ring up and have a chat about it as well if they want. Guys, thanks for welcoming David on the show, and we'll let you go off because I know you're running late for another appointment today. So thank you for joining us. Is there any last minute things that you want to?
No, look, the main thing is that we've associated ourselves with
Australian Anti-Scam Campaign,
and Andrea, and we look forward, we're making available a commitment to the program down here for the sale of every single one of these products, and look, we think it'll be pretty worthwhile for both parties.
Thank you for helping us put the freeze on ice in our nation.
No worries, thanks Andrea.
Thanks David, have a good day, hey?
See you soon, eh?
Awesome. Alright guys, now we're going to bring our care team coordinator on the show. Most of you have met her. Her name is Leanne, and we're going to be talking today about some of the calls that we get, and we're going to be talking about particularly suicide prevention and how rampant, I guess, suicide, how things can escalate to that level very, very quickly with ice. So, Leanne, welcome on the show. I'm Ivova.
Hi guys.
Welcome so much. A bit of a shift in show today, so it's a little bit different, like I told you, but we want to be chatting. Before we do go on to a very serious topic, I just want to remind you, I'm wearing this cap today because we're going out on the boat on Sunday. So if you have your Neo cap, my one has
Neo, not even once.
Not even once on the bottom here. And if you don't have your Neo cap yet, you can do that on our shop if you'd like. But it's on in anticipation. In anticipation for Sunday, because I love boating and I can't wait.
As long as it don't blow off.
It won't. No,
a shirt is better because the shirt wouldn't blow off. So you can go to a shop and buy a Neo shirt.
But you still have to put your cap on to protect you from the sun.
Okay, and what protects you from seasickness? Andrea's got this thing about a band-aid on your belly button.
That's right. You put a band-aid on your belly button and apparently you don't get seasick, okay?
I'm going to try that because I get seasick having a bath.
It's an old wives' tale and you know what? It works. Okay?
I'm going to put it to the test on Sunday.
I've tried it on my kids, you know, so we'll see. All else fails, just keep eating.
Don't they call that a lipid? What do they call that? When you think you're taking a tablet, it's not a tablet. I don't want to say the wrong word.
No, you're going to say the wrong word.
I know. Placebo. Oh, they call me foot and mouth for nothing.
It's not really, but what I found was if you go in the water, if you keep your eating, keep your tummy full, it doesn't, the fluids in your tummy doesn't wash around, and that's what actually makes you sick.
Okay.
So that's my reason to keep eating. So I just keep eating. But luckily, Cruise Gold Coast, they are putting on some nibbles, and there's only 2 places left. So you've got to get in tonight. We've got to finalise it tonight.
$30.
$30 or
Cash.
more if you want to donate more.
Or donation more, minimum $30.
It's all coming back to ARC to help us continue doing what we're doing. So thank you for Cruise Gold Coast. They are amazing. Every month they do a charity cruise. So and you know, to raise awareness and to help the community. So they're doing their bit in the community. They're awesome people. We're really, really grateful to have met them, and now we've got an opportunity to go out on the water, which is lots of fun. And I think a lot of our team are going. So if you want to come and have a chat, come onto the boat with us, but let us know. There's only 2 more spaces left.
Okay, now.
So, Leanne, I wanted to bring you on the show today because I want to talk a little bit about, so people know what we do in detail, a little bit more in detail. So, we get calls daily. We get calls daily here at ARC. I know that earlier this year we had a look at how many families we'd helped. I think it was around July, if I'm not wrong, and we'd helped 128 families.
Yep.
So that's our care team, which is the first point of call in AARC nationally. Yeah.
Nationally,
so when people call in, they call in the 1-800 No to Ice. Do you know those numbers?
Oh, look,
1-800 No to Ice.
Yeah, just look up No to Ice on your keypad because we're still learning those numbers. It's easy.
So when people call and they want to chat to somebody, we get 2 types of calls. Tell us a little bit about the kind of calls that you get.
All right. So before we go into that, a little bit of my background is I've been in crisis support, and the lived experience I've had is with suicide. And part of my story is, sadly, my dad committed suicide with a drug overdose many years ago, and that was a hell of an experience that I went through, just that alone. And if only I knew then what I know now, I know I would have handled him differently.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he would have decided to do it without anything, I don't know. But I have a strong faith in God, which keeps me going regarding that as well. And because I've felt a peace that goes beyond human understanding just to keep me going regarding it, because I was very close to my dad. So that's my experience. And so I've worked with suicide, not just in my own life, but I've also worked with it in crisis support. And basically, so we not only get families that are worried about their loved ones, but they're so concerned that I have the ability to know whether they're thinking about giving up, because it's so easy to do, because their loved one whom they love so much is in entrapment. They don't know what to do. They don't want to see them homeless. They don't want to see them eating out of bins and homeless, and yet their loved one in addiction doesn't want to change because they're in denial, and they don't realise the pain that they're bringing to their family. And so a lot of the phone calls we do get are those that are thinking about just giving up, and I say, well, why are you ringing me? Like, how did you get onto Australian Anti-Ice? And would you believe it, even today this happened. I had a lady say that she happened to be on her Facebook, and it just came up on her Facebook, Australian Anti-Ice. I get goosebumps saying things like this, because we're just in there on Facebook. And it's good that we're talking about this too, Andrea, because just tonight, if I may, I might keep you anonymous. We had a person write in on our Facebook Live, and I will, out of respect, keep you live. And she wrote that she lost a very close friend to suicide only 2 days ago.
Wow.
Her life was destroyed by ice. Her mental health deteriorated so much that she felt her only escape from her demons was to take her life.
And Leanne, that happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
From my experience as a user, I was very, very close to that place as well. And it's extremely difficult to work through that, even with the support of family and friends. It is extremely difficult to walk through that, because your mind is so messed up that you just, it's almost too scary to face. Some of the voices and the feelings and the things that you've done and been and stuff that you have to face is just so overwhelming, because of the chemical imbalance in the brain. With ice, it gets you to a point where you can't think straight. The depression's so severe that it just feels easier, to just not be here anymore. And that is not the answer, but at the time that seems like the easiest answer. And I know that your team, Leanne, you and your team in the care team are all trained with suicide prevention. Leanne has a history of Lifeline experience, as well as lived experience with your own family. So we're able, through some training that Wesley Mission have offered as well, to train some of our staff on that, suicide prevention, because it is so linked, to ice use. If we look at the spike in mental health, alongside the increase of methamphetamine found in our wastewater over the 6-year period, and the mental health budget and issue rising along with it, and suicide being a large, homelessness, domestic violence, all of that is, we've got to create a link there somewhere, guys, and we can't keep putting band-aids on the problems and, putting rehab and another. I mean, we do need rehabs, and we certainly do need services. I'm not saying not to do that, but I'm saying we've got to kind of look at, let's try and get people to stop even taking this drug, because we've got to go to the top of the waterfall here, and that is what we're addressing at the moment. But being on the front line, and this woman gets off the phone and sometimes is just so in tears, because it's painful to see someone going through so much pain.
And I feel their pain because of the pain that I've been through. I also, from that, and it was great, you just put it perfectly from the user's perspective. From the family member's perspective, there is also a type of, not the same with drug use, but there is a chemical imbalance, because I've experienced it myself. Because you're under so much stress, you cannot see. It's like tunnel vision. It's like you're walking through a fog, because all you can see is your own problems or issues or your loved one, because you love them so much. And so what I tend to do is I sit with them on the phone. I sit with them in their pain. There is nothing wrong with sitting with someone, showing empathy in their pain. And crying. I cry with them. I listen, and I listen attentively, and then I will ask that question, which a lot of people in community are very afraid of asking. There's a myth about it. I don't know why, but they're afraid to ask someone, "Hey mate, if you don't mind me asking, have you had thoughts of killing yourself?" And I don't say suicide, because suicide sounds clinical. Killing yourself, and they'll go, "You know what? No one's ever asked me that, but yes." And then I might say, "Well, how far have you thought about it? How have you thought about doing it?" And then by listening to them, they feel listened, and they're not judged. You're not judged in any way. And then I will listen out for reasons to live as well, which is, listen out for and go, okay, if you did this, do you realise what would happen with your other family members? And as a family member who's lost a loved one to suicide, it's very painful. Birthdays, Christmases, special events are the most painful part of life throughout the year. And so if you are thinking of doing that, what I'd rather you do, call Lifeline, 13 11 14. Well, I just still know the number.
You still know the number.
And if not, if it's to do with ICE, please give us a call on the 1-800 No to ICE, because we're here to listen. We're here to guide you to someone, or just help you, and that's what we're here for.
Just so we get something clear, we're not a crisis line.
No, we're not a crisis line. Thank you.
We're not a crisis line where people call, Lifeline is the place to call if you're suicidal, but if you want some help regarding getting off ICE, or getting some peer support, or a family member that has a loved one on ICE, please don't just allow this to overcome you and become overwhelming, and please reach out and say, look, I need some help, I need some support here, because that's what we're here for. We have peer support, and Leanne will, after she's listened to you, she'll be able to connect you to the right peer support help. And that people are trained to be able to connect you to services and to be able to walk with you. So just wanted to get that clear, that we're not a crisis centre, and we're not like a Lifeline. So Lifeline are there specifically for life. A Lifeline. So to call that number. What's that number again, Leanne?
13 11 14.
Awesome.
Okay. They're the ones to call for that, as Andrea said, and if I may say so, there is always support, like you said, out there. Don't give up, because even when you're at that nth degree and you've only got that, like a thin piece of cotton to hang on to, and even if you may have a faith, you may not, but put it out to the universe and say, help. And when you do, it's amazing what will happen. And you will receive that help, I promise you. And you don't know how you can then be the one, once you've gotten through it yourself, you can use that for good. And that's what I've used my experience for. That's what many of our presenters have used, what they've experienced in drug addiction for, and also the lovely, most beautiful, I love them all, family members that have had loved ones in addiction, or even still have them in addiction, and they are there to also listen to you, because they know the pain. It's no point talking to a plumber about your car problems.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
But if you talk to someone who knows and been there, that wants to give back to community, and if you maybe want to give back to community, please go on our website. We have a volunteer with us. If you click on the top tab, it says contact us, and under that it says volunteer. Click on that and fill in the form if you'd like to give some of your time, if you feel that you could give back because you have experienced this pain. And please just go on our website, www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au.
And once you fill in your paperwork, we'll put you through some training to be able to help a little bit further with the clinical stuff. So this is a family, guys, and our heart is to help the next person that needs a bit of support, because we've been there. So both with people in addiction and family members. I mean, we're two living examples sitting here. So this is the kind of calls that we get, families or people in addiction wanting help. So tell me a little bit about, Leanne, when somebody calls and they're in addiction, what do you do with them? How do you help them?
Okay, if they're in addiction themselves, I basically say to them, are you prepared to, well, of course we use the confidential line, it's all confidential, and the only way we would break that is if it was a matter of life and death, and we may have to call, I've never had to call the police, I hope I never do, but we have that confidentiality made clear. And then we ask them, look, okay, we can buddy you up with someone who's had the same experience that you're going through right now, but they've gotten through the other side. Yep. And that's called a buddy. Yep. And then I'm getting to know through training, through getting to know the buddies, who would suit what personality. And then we ask them if they'd be willing to receive a call with a text message beforehand. Yep. From a buddy, because I know a lot of people, and I don't even do it. If it's an unrecognised number, I don't answer my phone either. So I understand that. So I get our buddies to generally send a text message first to contact them, and then they can guide you on the pathway to recovery. Yep. So the tripod system of support.
Yeah, can you explain that a little bit?
A tripod has 3 legs.
So when somebody's in addiction, they get a buddy, and then the buddy helps to put them onto that tripod system of support. Yeah. So we call that community rehab. A lot of time people in that want help, they can't get into a rehab straight away.
That's right.
This is a landing place.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It is a landing place. So you've got the buddy as the first tripod. The second one is getting them on that pathway to recovery, helping them call rehabs. And the third one is getting them into a community service like an NA, AA, or even a church if they so want to.
Counsellor?
And counsellor. Yes, that's right. Counsellor. That's right. Yeah, that's right. The buddy, the counsellor, and the oh my gosh,
and the group therapy.
Group therapy. I'm just a bit overwhelmed at the moment because lately we've had and talking about this is a hot topic at the moment. I think it needs to be spoken about because lately we've experienced I have experienced people that are just wanting to give up, and life is so much more than just giving up.
Their life's precious.
Life is so precious, and we love you all, and we know that there is a way out. Sorry, you need to talk.
Sweetheart.
And guess what? We're human.
Yeah, we are human. Yeah, and feel people's pain. So we have had quite a few calls this week. Of people wanting to give up, and that's not the answer, guys. Honestly, no. I've been there. Leanne's been there.
Please don't.
We've walked with people out of that space. Your life can change. It can turn around. It can get better. You can get your life back, a life worth living. Sometimes we go through hard times, and we need a bit of support, and that's okay. That we're made to support each other and to help each other through this thing called life. But please don't give up. Okay, please reach out and get some support. If you're a man, please don't be too proud.
No.
Okay, a lot of men suffer quietly and alone because they have their kids, and it's painful whether you're a man or a woman. But for some reason, men don't like to talk. Please talk. We really need to tackle this. It is a really serious issue.
It is.
You need to tackle this together.
And we are your friend to sit beside you. I know when I was down low myself many years ago, and I just feel I should share this right now. That I wanted to give up when things went completely wrong in my life, and I wanted to give up, and I took a handful of tablets. And my friend, if she wasn't there to stay with me all night and sit by my bed and family, I would be here having this conversation today. So I know what it's like walking through that fog, thinking there's no answer, thinking that everybody is against you, and you wonder why. And you think, I'd be better off because my family don't like me because they may be against you. You know what? Please don't think that. Please don't let that be a dwelling thought in your mind, because because really deep down they do love you.
Yeah.
Okay, and you are loved.
Yeah.
All right, so I just feel I needed to share that.
That's good.
So
thanks for sharing that, Leanne, because it can happen to the best of us, all right? So don't feel guilty, don't, feel ashamed. Just talk.
Yep.
Talk to somebody, okay? If it's Lifeline, Beyond Blue, there's so many services out there. We might put some resources up on our page after this show. So if we're talking to you and you're feeling like you're not coping, that you're depressed and you're suicidal, or you can't do this anymore, there is helplines out there, and please call somebody, because
absolutely,
if somebody cares, we care.
We care,
but somebody cares, and it's not, it's never nice to leave a family member.
It isn't. And also be kind to yourself. If you're going through with a loved one in addiction, this is another thing I like to say to people before I get off the phone. Hey, I need to ask you, what are you going to do today to be kind to yourself? Give yourself a break. This is why we're going on this cruise on Sunday. This cruise is going to be available, next year for people that are probably suffering mental health ways regarding drug addiction or whatever. Go out and do something kind to yourself. Walk along the beach. That's what I love about the Gold Coast and where we live. Beaches are just a walk away, a stroll to away. Walk on the beach. Shout yourself a meal or a pictures. That's an old term. The theatre. Go to the movies. 10-pin. Go. Just do something to be kind to yourself. Sometimes even just having a luxury bath with candles around can be just some time out for yourself. So it's very important. And that age-old saying that when you're on a plane, they say if the plane's going down, don't go putting the oxygen mask on your child next to you or person next to you first. Put it on yourself first. Then you can help those. So you need to look after yourself first. And foremost, and then you can help your loved one, and that's very important. And also the other thing I like to talk about is as fences of love, aka boundaries. Yep, they're hard, but you need to set boundaries so that your own health is in good stead. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I find, a lot of family members don't do that because they love their their child or the person that's going through addiction. They love them so much that they just don't want to see them hurting or homeless or going through hard times, and they will enable. They actually cross the line between those fences. They jump the fence and they enable. And what happens is, for the addict, it actually keeps them in that entrapment because they can get away with it. They can continue doing that. It doesn't hurt enough. So those boundaries, those fences are so important for yourself, but also for your loved one that's in addiction. It's just as important for them that you do that, because it helps them get to the end of themselves and want to change that, because nobody likes to just be on their own without loved ones.
Exactly.
It's painful even through addiction, but when it hurts enough, then they make the change.
And guys, if you've got any questions, I'm not able to be at the screen right now, but if you've got questions about tonight's show in any way, please put them up, and we'll do our best to answer them. And you can call our number is 1-800 No to Ice, and go on our website. If you'd like I said earlier, to volunteer with us, go on our website to do that as well. If you would like to donate, because we are a not-for-profit charity and we cannot do it. It doesn't cost money. It costs money to do what we're doing. Unfortunately.
Somebody pays for the lights and the internet and the phones and the office space and so the resources we give out. So this is non-for-profit. We don't profit. Everyone's volunteers here. There's 104 volunteers Australia-wide, probably more now. But we have to still, stay online, paying our phone bills to answer your calls and
photocopying materials for the presenters to go forth. We need to. It doesn't just fall from the sky.
So to continue doing what we're doing, we need to get the community support. I'm only mentioning that, guys, because we did have a comment saying, "Oh, but you guys are about money." Well, no, we're not funded by the government, and the things that we are doing out in the community, we need resources to do that, to continue to do that. The peer support service, the budding service, you know, our buddies have telephones that they have to use. They go and buy people a cup of coffee and sit and go, you know, they travel somewhere, you know, sometimes half an hour away. We've got to put fuel in their car. So unfortunately, if it'd be great if it was different, all donated, but it's not. So we've got to pay for these things. So that's why, you know, we're doing a call to action to say, you know, if you want to help continue, help us to continue doing what we do, there is an army that you can join on our webpage, and you can do a small monthly contribution, which is totally tax deductible. It is, you know, 100% non-for-profit charity, and our audits are up online. You can have a look at that, and it's all about educating, raising awareness, educating our youth and our community, but also our peer support and family support, and helping people get out of the dark and into the light, getting them out of hell and into a life worth living.
Absolutely.
So join our army, and be good.
On that note,
we'll have to bid you good night. If you have any questions,
on that note, Peter.
Okay, all right. Oh no,
sick jokes.
We'll see you out on the water if that's you. If you're coming out on the water with us. If not, please share this post on your page, guys, because it is really important that people have the resources, which we're going to put up in a little while. Some helplines and so forth that Leanne's going to put up, right?
Yes.
And if you need help, please call us 1-800-NO-TO-ICE or 0481 844 555. Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you early next week. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay clean. God bless.
God bless. Bye.
Awesome.